I think game on the line, right? 2-minute drill. You need someone to go in there. Dante Moore is the quarterback that all of our analysts would select. This guy has been lights out, 2-time state champ, has appeared in more varsity games on Friday nights than anyone else in the class of 2023 when it comes to quarterbacks in the top 247. He can make all the throws. And with Dante Moore, the thing a lot of people don't know is he's actually one of the youngest quarterbacks in the class of 2023. Normally, a lot of these guys are held back. They're a bit older. I mean, Stetson Bennett, he's 25, playing for the Georgia Bulldogs. No, Dante Moore still has a ton of good football ahead of him. I think his body's going to mature a little bit. We love him a lot. Again, he is a gamer, but he can still, we can get a little bit more out of him.
The biggest flip of the cycle, and as our friend Andrew Ivins just said, for good reason. Dante Moore now headed to UCLA after a near 5-month-long commitment to Oregon. He's now breaking his silence on that change of heart, and you actually spoke with him, Blair, so here's what he had to say about that decision.
Well, my decision from decommit from Oregon, like I said, there's no love lost at all. Like I said, it was just a personal decision, with Coach Dillingham leaving Arizona State. It's an OC that I had trust in for 3 or 4 years. I still do. We always talk every day to keep building our bond, but things happen. Like I said, I had to sit back and weigh my options, and thankful for UCLA to have open arms with me. I took a visit. Everybody knows what Chip Kelly did, with development of quarterbacks and the offense he runs and the exposure and the resume he has. So that was a huge piece for me for sure. You're in Hollywood. You're in probably one of the best places in the world. So like I said, I'm going to enjoy it. Being from Detroit and going to the West Coast is going to be a true blessing.
Emily, we just had the holiday season pass, and I haven't been able to confirm whether or not Chip Kelly sent a Christmas card to the athletic department at ASU for doing what they did and hiring Kelly Dillingham. But that was huge in this process. UCLA really lucked out. They didn't have essentially a premier elite quarterback after going after several of them in this 2023 cycle, but it essentially fell in their laps late in the process. ASU gets their guy, UCLA gets their 5-star quarterback, and obviously that was a huge momentum shift as we look at the landscape out west.
Yeah, and they had added, guys in the portal, but ultimately this is the big fish in grabbing Dante Moore. Excited to see what he does. Meanwhile, the Michigan native is, of course, leaving the old Big Ten country and entering new Hollywood, as he said, and the Bruins are set to join the conference in 2024. So here is more on how much UCLA's move to the Big Ten influenced this decision.
Where I was actually talking to Cam Newton on the phone, and we was talking for a long time, and really he was giving me some pointers and everything to help me, better myself, with physically, mentally, and everything. And one thing he did say through my recruiting process, and one thing he went through in college is a lot of times in the college level you need national exposure. I know Pac-12, is a great conference, great competition over there, but everybody knows the two main conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, and really UCLA going out there competing, against Penn State, Michigan State, Michigan, all them great teams is a true blessing. And like I said, I have a lot of family in the Midwest, so that's actually another bonus. But really, I know the biggest thing for sure getting out there is trying to help the, California boys get used to the cold, because I know it's going to be pretty cold, and many people haven't never seen snow before, but I know I'm used to it, and I'm ready to get going.
Okay, first off, I need more on the relationship with Cam Newton. Secondly, though, with the pair of LA schools moving now to the Big Ten, it allows Midwestern players like Moore a chance to leave their region and still play in front of friends and family back home. So how much do you see his decision resonating among some other Midwestern recruits?
Yeah, well, first of all, he did play for Cam Newton's 7-on-7 team, C1N, during the offseason circuit. So very close and very tight with what Cam Newton is doing off the field and in the community. And then second of all, I do feel like this is going to give UCLA and even USC a chance to branch out into the Midwest and become a program that the players in that region can look to if they still want to play Big Ten football, but maybe leave the region, leave home, get a little bit away from what they're familiar with. It's going to really help UCLA and USC to at least go into that region and go and get some guys that potentially could be looking at playing in Los Angeles, playing under the bright lights. And then when Dante Moore is essentially on the field recruiting for UCLA, it could give them a good boost with players that know who he is.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds, right? You still get to play in the Midwest, but you also get some pretty awesome home games when you see Michigan playing in like December, and it's going to be a lot better in LA. All right, let's show you one last clip of your conversation. Now that Moore has officially signed with UCLA, the attention now centers around his development and what he can accomplish at the next level. Outgoing Bruins quarterback DTR was a great example of what learning under Chip Kelly can do for that quarterback's development, and Moore quickly recognized that.
I got to talk to Dorian, and I talked to Coach Chip, and they really broke down how his quarterback, development kind of was from going from, Bishop Gorman being at a high school, really being a receiver first, then being a quarterback, and as a coach, as a head coach that has a great resume, and going from quarterbacks that are pro style or dual threats, and Dorian is crazy and real scary with his legs and of course with his arm too, but having a coach, Coach Chip that can adjust the offenses, him being with Mike Vick, him being with, Marcus Mariota, great quarterbacks like that. But him, understand what Dorian's, strengths are and his weaknesses and really adjusting to that. But Dorian is a great person, great, strong mentally and physically. And he's a person that if he's out in the field, just watch out for his hurdle because everybody knows he's going up top.
What's interesting about that comment is that Chip Kelly has shown in the past a willingness to trust a young quarterback with his offense. Marcus Mariota started at Oregon as a redshirt freshman, basically unseating Darren Thomas, who had led them to a Rose Bowl. And this is, I think, a player that from the neck up has everything that you want. All the intangibles, the demeanor, the composure, the smarts, the intellectual ability to pick up an offense quickly. We've seen him here at the All-American Bowl practices be really calm and cool and collected and really, I think, confident in his own ability. So him heading into UCLA as a true freshman in the spring, I wouldn't put it past him to beat out whoever else is in that room, including Colin Schlee, another transfer portal player that they picked up from Kent State this offseason, as well as a number of other 4-stars that Chip Kelly landed in previous years.
Yeah, you've seen him do it before, and it was really that long-term marriage, too, between Kelly and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. 5 straight years of working together really paid off this year. Well, you can find that entire conversation and all things UCLA football on Bruin Report online.